Hi, good morning. This is Chris from Feasted and Feast with Friends, here for live cooking on Tuesday this week. Here is Alfie, who's joined us. Morning, Al.
Good morning.
You look forward to it?
Maybe.
So, just had a message from Ange Tyra. You on? Can't see you. We're here now, Ange. Hopefully you can see us. Say good morning. Hopefully you've got your potatoes in the oven. Mine are just sitting in there, just cooling down a little bit, just losing a bit of steam. I've turned the oven off, they're just sitting there. So a few things I want to mention to begin with. First and foremost, right at the beginning of the show, I want to mention Potteries Print, who have done these amazing aprons for us, Al, coming as well. And you'll notice last week, or any time you've watched, you've probably seen the Feast with Friends the opposite way round. So Martin got in touch with me and said, hey, we can put those the right way around for you. So thank you so much, Martin. Martin and the team at Potteries Print have been doing more than just making sure my apron's the right way around. They've been doing a bit of stuff on the front line as well, which you think, crikey, for a printing company, how do they do that? So if you've been out buying shopping, you might see stickers on the floor, sort of helping you to keep your safe distance and stuff. Well, Potteries Print have been doing that nationally for Booker, I think. So, companies just get involved in lots of different ways. So thank you, Martin and the guys at Potteries Print for these. Al? And also, thank you for just, adapting and doing your bit. Absolutely amazing. So, we've got a few people tuning in. Let's have a few hellos. Hi, Mary. Good morning. Hi, Molly. Good morning. Hi, Becky. Good morning. Hi, Vicky. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Kakapi. Good morning, Ange. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Claire. And, there's Becky again. Sam and Willow say hi. Hi, Sam. Hi, Willow. So, potatoes are in the oven, just cooling down a little bit. I'm going to get those out now. Now, I'm aware that, we've got some young people tuning in. I've got Al here with me today. He's still here. And also, you might be doing this just yourself as an adult. You might be doing this with a family. The kids might be doing that. I saw some photos last week of just kids sort of like just getting on with it, which is ace. But we're going to go over the sort of safety tips as well. So, oven door down, bit of distance from there. I'm just popping my oven back on just in case I need it later on. Mary says, hi, Alfie. Gonna give Mary a wave. Hi. Give everyone a wave, Al. Yes. Now, me and Al were due to go to the barber's just before all this kicked off, so we had long hair anyway, but it's just gonna get ridiculous. So if you see two Wookiees walking around Clayton at some point, it's me and Al. Okay, so yeah. So I've got some baby leeks here. I know I haven't asked you to get baby leeks. You have probably got peas, you might have broccoli, you might have green beans, some form of green veg or whatever, that's fine. Right, I had some baby leeks in the fridge. They're almost like spring onions, but they are baby leeks. They're just gonna pop those into this pan I've got on already, waiting for my gnocchi when that's done, which is, it's boiling. I've just turned it down, so you'll see plenty of steam coming out of that. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. So they're gonna be in there just for a couple of minutes. I'm just getting those ready. So, welcome everybody. Have we got anybody else tuning in yet? Okay, so welcome today, guys. I'm going to get our potatoes over. They are hot potato. We're going to keep the skins. We're not going to throw anything away. The version of this dish we are doing today is essentially vegetarian. I did put optional bacon on there if you want. I had a couple of comments from vegans saying, can we do this a different way? I'm going to cover that today as well. I think it's really important that we make these recipes sort of available to as many people as possible in the circumstances, don't you? I think that's absolutely essential. So, I'm going to cut those open just so they start to lose a bit of the steam. Ooh. Okay, so you can see that coming up there. Obviously the steam is moisture and we want to lose a bit of the moisture. If you're doing this in a restaurant, you'll probably be doing this on a bed of rock salt just to take away as much moisture as possible, but let's face it, resources, we need to be careful about at the minute, so It's about using as much stuff as we can in the right way. So I'm not doing that today. So just cut those open just to lose a bit of steam. What I'm going to do then, guys, is me and Al are going to be mashing away here side by side, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah? So I've got quite a large flat tray that we're going to do that on. Okay? And if you're sort of just one of you, and maybe the kids are a bit younger, if you've got a high-sided one, that might be quite useful, because you'll end up with a potato on there and not all on the floor. We're not going to end up going on the floor, are we?
Yeah.
Cool, ace, okay. So we'll be using something like that. If you've got 2 or 3 kids, 5, 7, crikey, you know, however many are doing it, you know, just small trays along the line would be great, just split it up, brilliant. So, what I wanted to do is just talk about a couple of things. I mentioned about baking and cooking being an exact science, and how sometimes you hear people say, well, I'm really great at cooking, but when it comes to baking, oh, it's an exact science, I just can't do it. I'm going to sort of just throw a bit of a spanner in the works there. In restaurants, yeah, the accuracy is unbelievable without a doubt, you know, without question. And I guess even in factories where they're mass producing stuff and they want consistency, it's all about that in the end, isn't it? But one thing I want to say to you is egg size. So these are large eggs. And today on the recipe it said 2 small eggs. But we're going to go for about 100 grams, Al, okay?
Yeah.
So just switch those scales on for me. You've got some scales to hand.
Is it grams? Like 100 grams?
Yeah, we're going to go grams.
Okay, some grams, I think it is.
Yeah, so pop that on. What's the first thing you're going to do?
0.
Just move in a bit, mate, because you're hanging off the side. That's it. So you're going to make sure it's on 0, so you're going to press 0. Great. Can you break that in there?
Yeah.
So you like cooking, don't you? I'll make sure it's over the bowl.
Yeah.
Nearly.
It was just...
Advice for when you're sort of showing kids and sort of helping kids to get stuff in bowls. I mean, Al's quite good, because how old are you, Al?
11.
Yeah, so he's used to breaking eggs, but always try and get them to get the hands quite low down. It's a tendency to lift them up, but if you've got them low down, they're going to end up in the bowl. Right, so just give that a little whisk up, Al, with one of the forks there. Why do you whisk it up, mate?
So it's not lumpy.
Well, what you're combining the 2 bits as well. Just taking my leeks out. Just going to run some cold water on those. Just help cool them down. Just going to top up that water a little bit as well. Have salted the water in the pan. Brilliant, mate. So we're going to need about 100 grams of that. So what we're going to do is we'll transfer that into another bowl. So can we 0 that one, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah? Excellent. How are we doing at home? Doing alright? Good. As last week, guys, take it steady, hopefully not going too fast. If there's any questions, I will sort of check that out along the way. So if you need to know anything as we go, just please let us know. So let's go for 100 grams in there, mate. We're on 0, aren't we?
Okay.
Yeah. So what we've got is 2 large eggs in there, but we want to get 100 grams. And going back to that idea of it being an exact science, if you look at a chart that breaks down egg sizes, there's quite a gram, quite a sort of band of weight that, perfect, that is actually covered within egg sizes. So that tells us, and this is really helpful for young kids who are learning to cook and also adults, that tells us that there's quite a difference in weight when using eggs. Yet if you think about recipes, now more often than not they do say the size, but still sometimes don't. And this is a problem when if you ever make pasta dough, it'll always say 1 egg. Whereas really if you use one large egg, it's such an easy dough to use. If you use a smaller egg, it's really quite difficult. So that's something to think about, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our tray. Now remember, these recipes are for at home. In a restaurant, we would do it slightly differently. If we're doing it to get the best results, we'd be doing this slightly different. We'd be using a potato ricer, okay? You can also push it through a sieve, but a bit of rough and ready is okay, isn't it? You know, we accept that at home, as long as it tastes good, that's the main thing. So, do you want to have a go at this? Yeah. Do you want to hold out? We're going to just scoop them out. So they have cooled down a little bit. They're still quite warm. So maybe, you know, if they're still too hot for small hands, maybe you could just, you know, just help them out with that. Or maybe even just rest them on a tea towel in your hand and then just tip it out. That'd work quite well. How's that going for you?
It's not hard.
No, it isn't, is it? Now, here's a little tip. If you don't, you could scrape out every last little bit of potato, right? Which is a good idea, because then you're going to get more in your gnocchi. But if you do leave little bits of potato in there, we're going to use those. That's where our texture's coming from. When I'm planning dishes, especially vegetarian, vegan dishes, ones that are really centred around vegetables. In fact, let's just remove that idea of being vegetarian. Just have dishes really centred around vegetables. I'm always thinking about, you know, where's the texture, where's the acidity, where's all those different points of difference that you get when you eat. Okay, it's really important. So we're going to add a little bit of texture using the potato skins. And again, we're not throwing anything away, are we? It's not weird. Which shouldn't sound weird. We're just being resourceful. The potato skins have got loads of vitamin C in them as well. So again, we're adding a bit more nutrition. And the thing with potato skins is, or should I say vitamin C, is it's water soluble. So if you boil the skins, you tend to lose some of that vitamin C. But if you're baking them in the oven, all that vitamin C is still there. How's that going for you?
Not hard. Really.
Yes. Now, anyone just tuning in, we haven't got an indoor mist going on. This is the steam off the potatoes. Is that good?
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing to consider is that you might have some flour already on the tray. We're going to do it slightly differently because we're not using a ricer. Anyone who hasn't used a ricer, it's just something that just pushes the potato through force, through like little holes like a sieve really. So we're just going to go in with these forks. Another thing no, not masher. No, we're going to go gentle with these. I've got one here for you, mate. Oh, actually, no, I haven't. We used it for egg, didn't we? I don't know if anyone heard that sigh of disappointment there from my son. Right, so just mashing gently. We don't want to overwork them. Hopefully you're all roughly around this stage. Right, you carry on with that. I'm going to look at these questions. You alright?
Yeah,
good man.
Very hard one.
So, hi Mark. Harley says hi. Hi Harley. Hello Hannah. Hello Karen. My daughter Harley knows Alfie from St Edward's Academy in Leek. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, hi there. Zoe, how soft should our potatoes be? Zoe, they should be mashable. Okay, just through pushing through with a fork. Should be really quite soft. As you can see, Alfie just storming through those potatoes. They should be nice and soft. Yeah, and we're not going to overwork them. We're not worried about little lumps.
Okay.
We're not doing posh restaurant. We're just making it taste good. Again, you know, putting it through a ricer, should I say, we get rid of all that. If you want to do that, that's fine. You can push it through a sieve. The less we mush it around, the better. The more lighter they're going to be as dumplings. Okay. Molly, the steam looks very atmospheric. I know. It'd be nice to have a little pond here, wouldn't it? With, you know, some things going on. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? A little fish lapping out of the water. Emma, Lily says hi. Hi. So, we've got our mash. Happy with that? Al?
Yeah.
Did a bit jump off the tray then?
Just a tiny bit.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. Good, that's ace. So what we've got now, I'm going to pop this to one side, Al. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, so this is lunch today, isn't it, guys? I'm sure we're going to taste a little bit as we go along, but this is lunch. I'm going to pop these over here. Now, Al, you're quite a keen viewer of like YouTube things, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who's your favourite YouTuber?
Gaming Beaver.
Gaming Beaver.
Yeah.
And what does he do?
Just the dinosaur videos.
You're pretty keen on dinosaurs, aren't you?
Yeah. And I also like snakes.
Yeah. Just tell people on the video.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so anyone that knows me knows I'm absolutely terrified about snakes. Alfie, for some bizarre reason, has just decided that he...
I think they're cute.
Right.
So, snakes are definitely cute.
Right. So yeah, Alfie's decided that he absolutely loves snakes. What do you want for your birthday?
A snake.
He wants a snake. I'm just terrifying. He said to me this morning, it was the best bit of advice ever. Daddy, face your fears. I thought that was absolutely amazing, wasn't it? Yeah? Good. Okay, so we've got 350 grams of flour, plain flour, okay? And what we're going to do, you're right, Al? Doing good? Yeah? So we're going to weigh a bit of that flour out. We don't want all of it, because that, if you think about that to the amount of potato you've got, you're probably thinking, Wow, that looks like a lot. So get your scales at hand. Get another dish or a bowl. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to weigh out, Al, about 200 to 220 grams, yeah? So pour it nice low down so we do 200, between 200 to 220 grams, yeah? That was a good tip, one tip. Wait. Right.
300.
Well, that doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter if you tip a bit too much. Quite often see kids in schools sort of like they panic when it's like, no, it's fine. It's part of the. You sort of saw how the flour held in the bowl, and then it just sort of just tips in just because of the angle, and it's about understanding the ingredients, isn't it, and how they work, and they can only understand that through making those mistakes. Where are we?
230.
We're nearly there. Yeah, I tend to find a good scoop of flour like that tends to be around 20 to 25 grams.
Okay, it's 202.
Okay, so I've got about just over 210 grams in there. I'm happy with that.
Trouble.
So we've got our egg, and we've got, incidentally, those 2 large eggs. Did you say that was 100 grams?
Yeah.
There's only got a little bit left over anyway, so we're not even far off, are we? So about 100 grams of egg. How are we doing?
Good.
Happy?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. Good stuff. So just going back to that idea of cooking or baking not always being an exact science. There's a really good podcast called Happy Place. It's Fern Cotton's, right? And a little while ago, Tom Kerridge was on. Tom Kerridge, the really sort of jolly chef who's on TV. He's ace. And he was so humble in the way he talked about food. He talked about him not being creative and him not being this sort of, this incredible sort of chef. He just relishes the fact that he just really knows what he's doing. He's nailed down the techniques and the processes. And that's what a lot of it is. It's just understanding, isn't it? It really is. Right, mate. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to just tip that flour just gently over there, over the potatoes, okay? So you're just sprinkling it over. You could use a sieve, a little bit. So if you're taller, that's naturally quite easier. When kids are working at worktops this height and the shoulders are sort of only sort of about that far away, I don't know, 1.5 foot or something, it's still quite difficult. I mean, Alfie's 11, but it's still quite difficult for him. So steps are really useful. I'm sure quite a few of you've got kids on steps or chairs and things. In fact, was it you, Alfie, or Daisy, that we had that lectern thing for kids working at a worktop? It was brilliant. It looked like a lectern. So every time our child was stood at the worktop cooking, it looked like they were either in church doing a sermon or doing some kind of public address. It was absolutely amazing. I've always thought about dressing Daisy up in a little suit while she was doing it. That's brilliant, mate. Keep going, a bit more. Oh, I'm going to say we've had a little spillage. Does it matter?
No, not really.
Of course it doesn't. We just pop that on there. Yeah. We can make mistakes with confidence, can't we? And just put that right. It's easy. We don't stress. Over this way, dude.
Okay.
Yes. Good man. How are we doing, guys? Everyone? Well, Alfie's just finishing it off. Oh, Helly Pops Daisy. Yeah, it was Daisy, wasn't it, with the lectern? Helly said, so proud of my boys. Jord, hi there. How you doing? Lisa, how are you, Lisa? Lewis and Reese, say hi to Alfie. Your mates are on here, mate. That's brilliant. I hope they're cooking. I want to see pictures of the results, Lisa. Okay. Amazing. Brilliant. We there? Yeah, so we've got all our flour on there. We still have some of the other flour there, about 130 grams-ish, which we might use if we need to. So we're just going to, using the forks, Al, we're just going to have a little stir. Okay, so get a fork, give it a little stir. Okay, on the tray, mate. That's it. So, high sides on a tray, quite useful if you have got them. If any sort of bits of dough do fly over towards the screen, I do apologise. So at this stage, I'm just going to put in a couple of good pinches of salt. Okay, I'm using some sea salt, some Cornish sea salt, because you get all the other minerals in that, whereas your table salt is just pure sodium, so it's much better for you. Ace. So let's get our eggs and tip our eggs over.
So just like pour it straight away?
Yep. All over. So at this stage, let's go for Good man, yes. Let's go for spoons now, mate. One for you.
You don't have one.
One for me. So we're going to just sort of gently stir that in. Okay. And it is, the thing with this recipe is, or making gnocchi in general, it's like you don't want to get too much of that starch going in the potatoes. So we're just bringing that together, getting any dry ingredients, and sort of explain to your child about how the ingredients look when they're dry. So they look powdery, light, almost dusty. You know, if you were to boil on it, it's sort of like drift away into the air. Think about explaining to them like that, because then they sort of can then think about stirring them in, because it's amazing to see, you know, we think kids can just stir it together, it's easy, but actually sort of bringing those ingredients together is much more, it takes a bit of understanding to really get the spoon in there and bring it together. How's that, mate? How are we doing? So at this stage, that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to gently. So Alan, can you get me another baking tray just off the side there? Okay. So we've got our baking tray here. Just pop that on there. So I'm just going to push this together gently, and feeling that dough at this stage, I'm thinking that we're going to need a little bit more flour there possibly. It's just enough to bring it together as a dough. We don't want too much gluten in it, so we don't want too much flour. And we talked about gluten last week. What we want is just enough flour to bring it together. Okay,
So
and
like,
that's the eggs on.
So it feels like cauliflower kind of, like the
Well, do you know, you're absolutely right. If it does, there are bits of it there that look like cauliflower. And if anyone's had cauliflower rice or cauliflower couscous, it looks very, very similar to that, doesn't it? So, last week we spoke about having a dough with lots of cracks and things in it. This week we don't really want that. What we want is a dough that looks, yeah, looks really smooth. Put that onto there.
So it kind of looks like, like a stone.
Yeah, kind of.
So like a very smooth
Yeah,
stone.
yeah.
Like on
So,
beaches.
yeah, kind of. Yeah. So what we want is to get rid of a lot of those cracks. I'm just going to add a little bit more flour. So, morning, Jackie. Good morning, April. Good morning, Megan. Hello from Neve, Ida, Aubrey and Evan. 4 of you. Wow, Megan. Hope you're doing well. That's amazing. Good morning, Mika. Hello there. Good morning, Ange. Good to see you all tuning in. Good morning, Lucy. I think I've got everyone so far. Right, so, tiny little bit more. So on that trail, what you're going to do, if you grab a bottle of the rapeseed oil there. Okay. So my dough's come together now. Okay, I'm just going to pull a bit of that dough off, because then I get a sense of what the structure's like, and I can see that actually there is a slight gluten quality to it, because it's a bit gluey, so that's perfect. I've not worked it too much, it should still be really light. Okay, because we want these potato dumplings to be really light. Alright, that's just how I want it. So if you break a bit off, guys, and have a little look, see if there's a little bit of stretchiness to it, a bit of gluiness, and then you know it's going to stay together when it hits that water. Okay, so Al, what you're going to do is you're going to tip a little bit of oil on that tray for me. Time for a little tidy down while you're doing getting your doughs finished off, guys. A little bit more, mate. So I'm just having a little tidy up. Yeah, that's good. That's looking good, mate. Yeah. Yeah, you can do. Yeah. If they've got any kitchen towel, you have to go and get a tissue off them. Okay. So here we go. So we've had our tidy down. All ready for the next stage. Okay. So who else we got? We've got Rob. Hi Bobby. How you doing, mate? Tonya. Good to see you tuning in all the way from Australia. Joe. Good to see you tuning in. How you doing? So we've got our dough. Yeah, so got a little bit of tissue, just wipe that around, mate. So while Alfie's just oiling that tray, I'm just sorting out these potato skins. So if you don't want to use these in this dish, you could basically save these for a snack. Because they've got a bit of potato on.
You could like dry them out in the oven so they're like crisps.
Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. And what I should have done this morning was sharpen this knife. So I'm just going to get it. Yes, there's it. Using the little kid-friendly knife. Has anyone bought any of these? They are really good. Really safe. So Al, as I chop these, if you start putting these onto the board for us.
Okay.
So they just look like little, almost like little skinny fries, but, well, exceedingly skinny fries.
Very skinny.
Very skinny. But what they're going to do is go really sort of crispy and crunchy. We're going to season them up. And they will just go lovely on top of the gnocchi. So pop these on, mate.
I guess I don't need to put them in anywhere. I can put them like anywhere I want, can't I?
Yeah, of course you can. We want to spread them out. So I would encourage anybody, if you're not going to do this now, just save them. If you're busy doing your dough, you can just save these. These will sit fine in your fridge. And in actual fact, if they cool down and really sort of set the starch is really cool down, you'll get really, really crispy potatoey bits. So they'll almost benefit from just having a bit of a relax. So you could do that later. Good, mate. Okay. Now the reason why we don't, do you know why we don't use boiled potatoes in this recipe, Al? You think why?
The dough might be too soft, so we stay together.
Yeah, so basically because the dough will absorb, because the potatoes will absorb water, we want to minimise the amount of liquid in the dough because it's going to make it more gluey. Okay? It needs to be gluey a little bit to be able to form a dough. But we don't want it to become too gluey. Right. How are we doing, mate? Doing okay?
Yeah, good.
So you sprinkle a little bit of oil on there. So I've got my oven on about 200.
So just sprinkle a bit.
Sprinkle a bit of salt on there, yeah. Okay, who else we got? Hi Kev, good to see you tuning in, mate. Hello Avril, good to see you tuning in. Good morning Eddie Kerr. We shall be tuning in for the live stream from the sugar mill. It's ace because I've not been to the sugar mill for a few years because I'm old now. But basically, I don't know if anyone, I just heard Alfie snigger, honestly. But yeah, I'm old now, so I've not been for a while on a Friday night. So if I cannot go to the sugar mill shall come to my living room. That's absolutely amazing. So that's awesome, Eddie. Just great to see people adapting and doing loads of different things, and that's a really great example of that, isn't it? You know, we're all sort of. It sounds cliche, but we are all in this together. You know, it's a great leveler, isn't it? You know, we all those things that make us different aren't as important anymore. We are ultimately all very, very equal. So yeah, looking forward to that, Eddie. Right. So, is that done?
Yeah.
Little sprinkle of oil on top. Now you could use whatever oil you want.
Vegetable oil, olive oil.
Say it again.
Vegetable oil, olive oil.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. It looked like Alfie was putting on quite a lot there, but he was doing quite a slow pour. So I'm just going to toss those around, Al, and spread them out. And the reason why we want to spread them out is that they're going to get crispier that way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because any
So they
moisture
stick together.
is spread out. Yes, they won't stick
So
together
like
as well.
how you get like a crisp in some walk packs that like stuck together.
It does happen, doesn't it? It does happen. So, back to the dough. Little wipe down. So, here we go. So we've got the dough. So I'm hoping at this stage I'm not going to need any flour, but I've got that flour measured out if I need it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to form our potato dumplings. Okay, so we're going to turn it into sausages, and again we're going to treat it quite gently. A little tiny sprinkling of flour there.
Are you gonna like chop pieces.
Yes, exactly what we're going to do.
Very thin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you get like little marshmallows.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Or,
They're not quite that small. Do you want to have a go doing some there?
Mhm.
If I give you a little bit. So you've got quite a lot of dough here, guys. I'm not going to probably roll it out all now. I'm just going to do a little bit of it, just to show you the technique. So when I did the platted scone last week, I used a very similar technique. I'm just really rolling that really gently. Queen wave. You do that, Al? Not quite as keen. So we're going down to about 1.5 centimetres, as small as you can. Well, I say as small as you can get it. And knowing, after teaching for a few years, if you say something like as small as you can get it, you can guarantee that somebody will be like, "Have you seen how small this is?" Or the other extreme, "It's huge." So yeah, about 1 to 2 centimetres is great. Okay. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to pop that, to roll that gently off the board. I'm going to pop another one on. So, have many people done the sourdough starter this week? I'm going to hopefully, if we've got time, I'm going to cover that before we go. Just something just to do with that. The day. I'm hopefully going to go live tomorrow with some videos on making sourdough. I've had quite a few questions about that this week. But what I thought was, you've got a week really to get your sourdough starter sorted. Yeah? How's that going?
Good.
That's ace. So all equal, you need a little bit of flour. You notice how it's sticking a little bit?
I know I did use some,
Yeah?
put some flour down, but it
Good man.
quite enough.
Good lad. So what would your top cookery tip be for young people if they wanted to do cooking?
Just don't. Just concentrate.
Okay. Concentrate. It's good.
Don't get distracted by TV.
Do you get distracted by the TV?
Maybe.
So, at this stage, we've got 2 sausages. Alfie's got another one. I've only actually got about that much left, so probably just over a half sort of rolled. Okay. Good man. And you know, you've done a brilliant job of that, mate. Pretty equal, that is. That's fantastic. So what we're going to do then, Al, is we're going to cut that into little, almost as wide as it is,
So like
is as long as it is, if that makes sense. So it's almost, although it's rounded, it's almost square. Right, so I'm just checking my water. I'm just going to topping that up again. I'm going to squidge you over this way, mate, just for a second. There you go. Amazing. So, I've touched on this already. So there's a couple of things that's really important in improving your cookery skills, and this goes for young people, this goes for adults, anybody really. So understanding a process is really important, and that comes with practice. That comes from using. Muscle me out of the way. It'll be his show in a minute. So that's really important to understand about, you know, how to use flour, eggs, etc. And I suppose the more recipes they're in where they've got a real job to do, the more you understand that. But the other thing is using the hob and understanding how to use heat. Ovens are great because we can bake stuff and there's lots of dextrinization happening, so you do magic things outside and all that stuff. But really, it's when we use the hob that we really understand what heat's doing, and the reason for that is it's happening in front of our eyes, so we can really say it again.
You can see it.
You can see it exactly, and if you can see it, you're going to have a much quicker understanding of it, aren't you? And that's the real principle. So understanding processes and behind that is ingredients, and then understanding heat and what heat does. And there's 3 principal things in heat. So one is dextrinization, so that's the changing of starches to sugars through dry heat. There's caramelization, which we're all really familiar with, and what happens to the complexity of flavour of sugar as you heat it.
Oxidization.
Oxidization, yeah, that happens due to air though, doesn't it? So that's what happens to ingredients after we cook them, and that affects flavour. And then the other thing is the Maillard reaction and what happens to proteins. And in actual fact, often when we're cooking, all those things are happening at the same time, and we tend to sort of focus on one, but you know, we all know that ingredients have lots of macronutrients in, and there's obviously micronutrients as well, so lots and lots of different things are happening. Now, a couple of other people have tuned in. So Ryan, hi Ryan, not seen you in ages, great to see you tuning in, mate. I'm assuming you're cooking with the kids, or you might be even doing it yourself. And another person on there, Craig. Craig, how you doing? Now, Craig, I'm going to have to give you a mention. So Craig Squants, I met Craig just before Christmas. Me and the team, when we were doing a Christmas event, a corporate event for a company in Cheshire. And Craig was one of our waiters that day, but he was no ordinary waiter, were you, Craig? Because he's a singing waiter. Now, I'd never heard of singing waiters before we did this gig in Cheshire. And Susie, who was hosting the party, had got Craig in. Hi, mate. Yeah, really good to hear from you, mate. And Craig was amazing. We sort of like went along with it. We created a bit of a backstory. He was going off to work on a cruise ship as a singer. And when this lasted right up until the end of the meal, when we'd fed our clients, and then all of a sudden I was saying, just like to say a real sad goodbye to Craig. He's been amazing over the last few years, supporting the business and waiting on. He's brilliant at his job. He's fantastic, but never. But it was just magic, and then he just picked up the mic and he just hit it, and it honestly, it was incredible, wasn't it, Craig? It was ace. It was a good gig, and I'd genuinely love to work with you again. It was fantastic. So, Al, that is looking incredible. Now, why do you think it's important that they're all the same size, Al?
So you cook the same level.
Brilliant. So talking about heat and how heat affects ingredients, let's always try and get things the same size so they cook at the same time, so they're even. That's really important. Not only does it look good, they're also even.
Even Stevens.
Okay. Even Stevens. That's right. Yeah, brilliant. So, just going to wash one of those forks that we've had. Do you know? I think the hardest thing about having a cookery accomplice like this is that I have to wash more stuff as I go through. Make me work harder. Right, so hold that. I want you just to hold that up to the screen. Hold it quite close to the screen, Al. In fact, take it all the way around there, because we're on an island unit, and just pop that in front of the screen. Oh, dropping it in from the top. So, quick question. Does anybody know... Just move it back a little bit. Oh, yeah. So, turn it upside down, mate. Okay. Turn it the way round. Yes. Let higher, because the camera's right at the top. Don't try not to nudge the screen. A little higher. It's like strike it, Lucky. Higher. Okay. Does anybody know? Thanks, mate. You come back round.
Okay.
Does anybody know what the prongs on a fork are called? Does anybody know what the prongs? Anybody know? Going to give you to the count of 5. Kids, any ideas? 3, 2, 1. They are called tines. Okay, so these 3 prongs on a fork are called tines. All right. Another note there from Craig. Thank you kindly. Same, was good to work with you too. It was mega, mate. I'd love to do it again. Right, so we're going to just sort of hold them in our hand, and you can run the tines of the fork on top.
So it looks like they're like cooked on a grill.
Yeah, so it just gives them those lines. It's just a little finishing technique.
So kind of like little
Do you want to do that? You don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that, but if you want to, you can do. Okay, so my water is, I've got mine on the smaller hob here, not on the large one on the other side. It's smaller, so it's just on a gentle boil. Bubbles are just popping to the top. It's not a rolling boil, it's not really visceral heat, it's sort of just a nice medium heat. There's plenty of heat there, it's just on the edge of boiling, it's perfect. It is salted water. So, potato skins there coming along nicely, getting a bit of colour on there. Smelling good, Al?
Yeah.
So I'm going to just give those a little nudge around on the tray. That's good. And you can add pepper to those, you could add some spice, cinnamon. Alfie loves cinnamon, don't you?
Yeah.
You do. So we're nearly ready with these, Al. I don't think we're going to put lines on all of them. But you understand how that works, don't you? Yeah? You don't want to squash them too much.
Sonic.
They're like little pillows, basically. So I've got, yeah, they are. I've got a board full of stuff here, and I've got a sort of medium to large size pan over there. So what we want to do is we want to probably add them in smaller batches, so they don't stick together. I reckon 3 batches for this. Also, if you've got some peas, I'm going to do 2 things with peas. Well, I'm actually going to do 1 thing with peas, but we're going to treat them 2 different ways. If you've got peas out and they're defrosted, that's fine. But I am going to get a pan on, and I'm going to warm them up gently. So I'm just putting some water into a pan, just for some peas. Okay. Pop that on there. How do you, mate? Okay?
Yeah.
Just put the lid back on the oil. So I'm going to get some of my gnocchi. I don't know how close you are from worktops to stoves, so I'm going to take that over, I'm going to pop that over there, and what I'm going to do is then just pop them into the pan, and what will happen is this, they'll sink to the bottom, and slowly they will just lift off. And when they're all at the top, give it a count to about 10 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that sort of pace, and then lift them out. Just gives them that little bit of extra time, but it really is that quick. And it's just to cook that flour through. The potato's already cooked. It doesn't take long at all.
Does it take 20 minutes for pasta?
No.
10?
No. It takes loads less time than that. But dried pasta takes longer. So I'm going to just
Like
drop
one
those
you
in.
make yourself. Because didn't you say when you used to do it with schools, like
That's fresh pasta.
Not fresh pasta. Yeah, that's the one you make yourself.
Yeah.
Or did they leave it in too long and it went all dry?
Yeah, so that's a common mistake, and it's down to confidence. So when we used to make fresh pasta in school, what would happen is I'd say, right kids, as soon as that hits the top, count a few seconds and take it out. And it's almost like I just want to make sure it's cooked. So it'd stay in there for maybe another couple of minutes. It's like just as soon as it floats, little count, and out it comes. So what I've got here is I've got a colander just sat in a saucepan. I'm going to get a slotted spoon. I'm just going to transfer that over, okay? Now, because of the nature of this dish, they might just take a little bit longer just to, because it's ceramic, they might just stick to the bottom a little bit. So I'm just nudging the pan just to tease them up when they're ready, okay? And they're just starting to lift. I actually think that's going to need a bit more heat, so I'm going to pop it on the larger one. I think we just need a bit more heat. So we should have some peas, guys, okay, if you've got your peas ready. And if they're defrosted, I want you to do something. I want you to, and this is great for the kids. Oh, take one. Just take one out. So if they're defrosted, straight in. They're so sweet, they're just amazing. It's almost like, why would you even boil them? They're so good. Take those to the cinema. They're just amazing. So sweet, aren't they?
Yeah.
Want another one?
Yeah.
Right, so they're now floating. And I'm just going to count. I'm going to lift them out. So, you know, if you've got little ones there, just obviously watching them carefully. And if they're putting them into the water again, although it's hot,
Into the water.
yeah, hand close over the top. Alfie just said that. So just close to the water top and not dropping them in, because that's when you get the splashes and you'll essentially just burn yourself. You won't burn yourself badly, but it will sting a little bit. We need to be quick with those as well, mate. Make sure they go separate and they don't land on top of each other. So that's done. So if you just keep your eyes on those a sec, Al. So another little wipe down here, just clean up any other little bits. So, got a few more people tuning in. So hi Kim, good to see you tuned in. Hello there Jodie, good to see you tuned in. Hello Sue. Hello Steph. Oh, your name on there, Steph, has just reminded me of something. So we're talking about peas today, and peas are a great ingredient from the freezer. You'll see why I've mentioned you there, Steph. They're a great ingredient from the freezer. See him dancing there. Come on, give it some. Yes, amazing. So they are an amazing ingredient from the freezer, and if you sort of treat them with a bit of love and care, it also tastes really good as well. So here's the thing. I've heard of loads of people growing their own talking about growing their own veg. Peas are amazing in the garden, Steph, aren't they? What they do to the soil is they add loads of nitrogen to the soil, so then if you grow the next year after it's really, really enriched. So peas are incredible. They're really easy to grow as well, so they're a really good crop and you get a lot from them. So if you want to plant stuff this year, and maybe you're not that confident, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a massive gardener myself, I'd struggle for time to do it. So peas are a really, really good thing to do. They're great for the soil and I think it sets you up really good for next year as well. So peas, really important. And also high in protein as well. Amazing. How are we doing? Okay. So I'm going to lift those out. Are you getting ready for the next lot, Al?
Oh, yeah. I might take them out next time then.
Do you reckon the potato crisps are done? Are they smelling crispy?
Can't smell them.
You can't smell them?
Nope. They're a bit pieces.
So, just fishing those out. Last few going in, Al. In we go. So, I've got here a pan of boiling water that I just put on. I'm going to add some of the peas to it. So this is a bit of an addition to where we were going with this originally, but it's just going to add a little bit of something to your dish if you want to try this. And you'll probably be able to do this after if you haven't got everything up to hand. Just going to grab myself a sieve. You okay there, mate?
Yeah, I'm not dropping it in that hot pie. This gives nothing.
So, peas in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to get a little bit of the water from that.
So it tastes better.
Right, seasoned as well, so I've just pinched some of the water out of that pan, it's seasoned, so it's going to have a little bit of saltiness. And what I've got here is a stick blender, or an immersion blender. I'm just going to whiz that up. You could use stock, you could use some heated cream, some creme fraiche. You could still just use water or stock and then add some to it. Green beans for this.
Yeah, like use different kinds of peas or something. There's some beans.
What I'm learning is that pan isn't quite big enough because it's flicking bits of pea at me. Something about your kids enjoying seeing you get messy. So just whizzing it up. Yep, that one's definitely done because it's a smaller one. So, how are we doing, guys?
I can't tell.
Yep, pop them in, that's fine. If they're flaky, that's good. So I've got a little pea puree. It's a bit rough, it's got lots of texture, that's fine, it's okay. If you want to make it really smooth, you can. But this one's a little bit rough, and I've got some Parmesan cheese. Now, if you're vegan and you're making this, you can use a flax egg instead of using a normal egg, okay? You can use some vegan cheese, just adapt the ingredients. Anyone can do this, no matter what your diet. If you're gluten intolerant, you know, I looked that up, and maybe you could just use some rice flour, some corn flour, add in there as a blend. So I'm just going to mix that in. Yes, please, mate. And because that's now hot, what we find is, obviously the cheese is going to melt, so it's going to make that really smooth and velvety.
Could you put some flour in it? Or?
Well, we're not going to put flour in that because it'll be starchy and it'd be raw because it's not enough heat. We could do, but what we want is a real sort of smooth.
It tastes a bit like powdery something. So
Okay.
So it tastes a bit different.
Yeah.
So
Well, you might put
like
some garlic in there, which brings me on to a nice thing actually. I've also here got some wild garlic.
You can find it anywhere.
Where'd you find it, Al?
You can find it in woods. You can find it in your garden. But if it's like in the woods or by the side of roads, don't pick it up.
Why is that?
Because dogs like to.
Yeah. Stay away from the ones near the edge of the road always. So, Megan, wait for us. we doubled our ingredients. Wow! I'm guessing that's intentional. You've done that because you want to make lots of it. That's brilliant. You can always watch back on this, Megan, so don't panic. Where are you at, Megan? Just let us know where you're at. So just chopping that up. Do you want to have a little chop through that, mate? Now what I could have done was put that into the peas and then whizzed it up and done it that way. And that's where it's going to go into the peas. So we've got my little potato crisps now. Looking gnarly and crispy. Absolutely brilliant. Good. That's great. So I think we need a plate, don't we? We're going to get a plate ready in a minute. So the next step is to get your frying pan. Now everyone's frying pans are going to be different. Different metal, different quality. Hopefully you've got a non-stick one. Depending on... Loving the skills, yes. Depending on the quality of pan will depend on maybe the amount of oil you've got to use as well. So I'm going to put it in a glug of rapeseed oil. I'll tell you what, Al, if you just move to one side with the board now. Brilliant. Yes. Okay, mate. Good stuff. Now we're going to stop chopping that because if we keep chopping it too much, what it'll do is it'll what? Lose the flavour. So if you chop it too much, it's going to damage the flavour. That's absolutely right. Which is why now, us chefs, we tend to just rip the herbs and just try and keep them as whole as possible because the cells aren't damaged and the flavour is much, much better. Irene, hi from Italy. Hi Irene, I hope you're safe and well. Becky, if anyone can tell me, as we missed it, oh, Chris, remind me of what you put with the peas. Okay, so with the peas, hang on a second, I'll pop the wild garlic in. What I did is I just gently warmed them up so they're defrosted or at least warm through and they're hot. And then I took a bit of the water out of the pan, the seasoned water. You could use stock, you could use cream, you could use creme fraiche, whatever. And basically just then grated in a bit of Parmesan cheese and whizzed it up with a stick blender. So basically we've just got a pea puree, and now we're just putting in a little bit of wild garlic in there as well. Okay, it smells amazing. Would you just do a little taste test of that for us, Al? So that frying pan's warming up, and just frying them gives them a lovely little extra dimension of texture. You don't have to, but it really does. It's really worth it. Hopefully that helps, Becky. Ah, we've got a few Italians tuning in. This is amazing. Brilliant. How do you know when your gnocchi is cooked? If it's in the water, you get it on a medium to high heat. The water should be on a medium to high heat. Oh, that's great, Becky. And when they float, count to about 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to give them that little bit extra, and then lift them out. Is that good? Yeah. Sweet, salty. The amazing thing about using something like, you could use any cheese, but because we've used Parmesan, it's got that acidity to it, so it's just, it just takes it to the next level.
Put more herbs in it.
Ah, Ange. Okay, so at this stage, if you've got your broccoli cooked, what I would do is you could put your broccoli into the pan before you put your gnocchi in. Just fry that off, char it a little bit, fry that off for a minute, 2 minutes, depending on how hot the pan is, and then take that out and then go in with your gnocchi, and then the broccoli can go back in afterwards. Does that make sense? Yeah? So likewise, if you're using any other vegetable, that's what you can do. Okay?
What other herbs could you put in?
So what other herbs?
Yeah.
Into the peas?
Yeah.
So you could use basil, you could use thyme, you could use tarragon, it'd be amazing. You could use parsley, be really good. Yeah?
Could you use like, what was good? It's like, I can't remember.
Not sure?
No,
okay, have a think. If you remember, tell me. So, anyone in the background there might have noticed I just lifted the pan off. I didn't want it to get too hot. I'm just going to bring that frying pan back up to temperature. So if you've got any other vegetables, I've got some baby leeks here, and what I'm probably going to just do with them is, or I'm not actually, but what I would do with them is probably just drop them into some stock just to bring them back up to temperature. I'm not going to fry them, I'm not going to go for any texture, I'm just going to keep them soft. And they're really wilted and lovely. Yeah, so just lovely green spring flavours.
Yeah.
Okay? The peas obviously aren't, but... Pardon?
You're like rubber
Yeah.
and like rubber.
Yeah.
Also smell nice.
So, does that look hot, Al? Oil's nice and hot?
Yeah.
A little bit of smoke coming off that oil.
It's,
So it will spark a little bit maybe if you've got any water still on your gnocchi. So
yeah.
in with the gnocchi. Give that a little shake just to help them separate, okay? And again, if you've done the whole batch, you will probably need to fry this off in 2 or 3 batches. My pan's quite full there. And the idea with a pan is if it's really packed full, a lot of steam gets created and you might not quite get the colour and the texturisation, the char and the flavour that you want from applying that direct heat.
The goldness.
He's doing better than me. He'll be just in next week. What did you say?
And the goldness of them. So like look like marshmallows when they're like perfectly gold.
The goldness, yeah. So the colours, brilliant, absolutely amazing. So just shaking the pan just to help them keep moving. Little toss. Okay. So all looking good, I think. Hopefully all up to speed now. No worries, Megan. That's great. What do I do with broccoli? Oh, I'm repeating the question there. Sorry, guys. I think you've got the broccoli sorted now, haven't you? Hopefully. Yeah. So, broccoli into the pan first. It's already cooked, hopefully. You've already blanched it or steamed it or something. You're just going to sort of heat that up, just get a little bit of colour on it. Out of the pan. Pan back on, make sure it's warm. Gnocchi in. Sort of cook off the gnocchi. They're still okay, just for a few seconds. And then back in with the gnocchi, okay? So, little shake again. How's that looking now?
Good.
So at this stage, what we're getting is a nice bit of colour, and that's exactly what we want.
Taste that, one of them?
Yeah, I tell you what, we'll pop one on the board. So you can have a little taste. Just let it cool down because it is really, really hot.
Okay, I'll chop it half.
You're in there for a second, Al. Do you want to just do a bit of a chat?
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
So we've just got a plate there just to plate this up. This is a plate that one of the amazing plates from Steelite, Stoke-on-Trent, hashtag, I've forgotten my hashtag. Anyone tell me what the hashtag is? Plate lifters of the world unite. Hashtag plate lifters of the world unite. Steelite, one of the amazing companies that are still making ceramics in Stoke-on-Trent. Really important that we still talk about them. Churchill as well, and there's lots of little independents as well, which are really important to mention.
Can I go and get another one, or should I?
We're just going to pop it on this one for now, okay?
Yeah,
So lots of colour on there. I'm then going to get some peas, and they're going to go in there as well. Say again. Now, if you've got butter, you might want to glaze it with a little bit of butter, a little bit of seasoning, okay?
You know, pictures like a UFO, like aliens. They have the beam, like aliens coming down and invading this city.
Right, so I've got my baby leeks just getting onto the plate. So we're going to finish this dish up, and then, I mean, let's face it, you could get a bowl, throw them in the bowl, it's fine.
Can we make it
So I've just got some baby leeks on there. Say again, Al.
Can we make it look posh?
Say that again.
Can we make it look posh?
We make it look posh.
Give it a try one.
So, I've got my gnocchi, lots of colour, peas in there as well. Fine job, mate. So, bacon was on the ingredients, and if you have bacon on there. What you can do is the same as exactly how we've just treated this gnocchi, right? Sometimes the thing you're going wrong with when you're cooking bacon, if you still do this, is a cold pan. Pan really hot. No real need for any oil either. If you're worried about it sticking, just get a bit of kitchen towel and just
try it.
and just basically, yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Do you want
Yeah.
to?
I'll have a go in a second.
Okay.
And just lightly brush it on. Yeah, there's no need for lots and lots of oil when they cooking your bacon, but get them really crispy. If you're gonna use meat, let's treat it well, right? I'm gonna put on a little bit of this. So this is our peas, our parmesan. Okay, you could drizzle it over if you want to add olive oil to it or whatever. If you're gonna add olive oil, add it right at the end.
Between the leeks.
In between the leeks.
Yeah.
Do you want a job?
Yeah.
You're good, aren't you? And then, what I've also got is when I go out and pick my garlic, and I think here we're a bit behind some people with garlic, because we're still getting lots of these little shoots. Some people are already on the buds. And when that happens in the next few weeks, I'll show you what to do with those. They're absolutely amazing. So we've got these little shoots of wild garlic. Are we all off there, Al? We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pop some of those on. I mean, you could just literally throw this in a bowl and just feed your face, but
It doesn't have to be this posh.
doesn't it? No.
It can look like a bowl of mud, but it will still taste nice.
It's so true. That is so true. Yeah. I think our eyes are really important when we eat, aren't they? It's nice for them to look good. How's it taste?
It's good.
Mmm. That texture on the outside is really nice. Yeah? So, I'm just going to find some of that. You grab a couple as well. Some of those tiny little crispy bits. That's just going to add. Oh, lovely, mate. Good work. You've done this before. Just pop them on. Just pop them on there, and then, as all Italians would do with gnocchi and pasta, you can confirm that for me, Med and Irene. A good bit of parmesan on at the end just to finish off. How am I doing, guys from Italy? If you've got any points to make, any pointers, please let me know. Always learning, always. Okay, guys. So there's the dish. Okay, on Staffordshire ceramics as well. Okay, so do you want to try, Al?
Well, I've had a try and lucky, but I want to try some more.
Yeah, so grab yourself a fork. So some of you might still be catching up, that's absolutely fine. Do it in your own time, you can always come back to the video. Becky, so fry it in butter. So fry it in butter. Yeah, you can fry it in some butter. I've just used oil. But if you've got butter and you want to fry it a little bit, absolutely do that. Yeah, and actually using a little bit of butter and oil is a really good way to stop the butter from burning. Okay, but you'll certainly get more colour on it doing it that way. Okay, especially if you're sort of worried about the heat of the pan and stuff like that, the butter will do some of that work for you. Okay, so there's our dish, that's ready. Helly's here as well. Do you want to come try it, Helly?
No.
She said no, no. She said no. She's still got pyjamas on. That doesn't happen every
see
day.
you.
So,
You can't see the pyjamas. You can.
you try it, Al.
You can't.
You can try. I think I'm going to have to have a go as well.
Okay, so you mentioned your aprons.
Oh.
You mentioned.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah. Helly's just reminded me, have you mentioned your aprons? Yeah, I did that at the
You
beginning.
mentioned it again.
Yeah, I'm going to. So, Pottery's Print. Really fantastic job. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Little taste. How's that, Al?
I haven't tried it yet.
So, we've got...
I have. Is it veggie?
Mmm.
I'll
Mm.
send it back. Should I get some?
So, if anyone hasn't seen my Instagram account, a while ago I was doing flavour bombs. Here we go. Here's a flavour bomb. These are flavour bombs. Should we do a joint flavour bomb, Al? You ready?
I'm going to go this one.
Yeah. You're giving that to Mummy. Okay, here we go. Here's a flavour bomb. I'm going to tell you what's on here. Gnocchi, parmesan, peas, wild garlic.
Can I just first, did you mention that the...
It's so good. Oh! Yes, it tastes so good. So simple, such simple flavours. Just taste absolute magic. A bit of saltiness, acidity from the cheese. What I haven't had yet, because I haven't had to use a knife, is a bit of that leek. But if you're using garlic, broccoli or green beans or whatever, it still tastes amazing.
Chris, are there leeks from Wales and Wales?
No. Really good. Right, I'm going to squish you over that way, Al. Just tell me what you think how it tastes. Do you like it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to push this over here because I've got one more thing to do. So here we go. Next week, anybody guess what our main ingredient might be next week?
Parsley.
No.
Baked beans.
Baked beans? No, not
Spam?
baked beans. Spam. I'm going to put the no spam sign up. Megan, can you reheat it? Yeah, of course you can reheat it. Yeah, definitely. What I'd do is when you're letting it cool down is give it some space to breathe so it loses the steam, and then you can heat it up fine later. Even if you haven't done that, it'll be absolutely fine. You know, something like that. It's comfort food. It's really great. I mean, pasta can be comforting, but gnocchi is something else. It's something about having the potato and the starch. It's just incredible. So, a few questions and introductions. So, hi Tom, good to see you tune in. Mary says, hi Helly. Mary, she can't talk.
Hi, Mary.
Oh, no, there you go. She did have a Facebook.
Mary Hutfield.
Yeah.
Hi, Mary Hutfield.
Kakapee. Yeah, add cream cheese to the peas. Yeah, it's amazing. Mascarpone. You know, most cheeses are going to work, you know, and in a time when we need to be resourceful and we want to use as much as possible, I think, you know...
Vegan cheese to work.
What?
Vegan cheese.
Yeah, vegan cheese. Yeah, if you're doing it a vegan version.
Co-op.
Yeah. Oh, corporate promotion.
Oh, sorry.
Right, okay, so hopefully you're pretty much there with that and just managing to enjoy that. Is that good, Al? Yeah? Now, I know we tried to sort of play, Alfie said we played it posh and that. You know, we can just enjoy it. It's Moorish food that should just taste good, you know. I think Helly's fingers are just wafting in. It's not an extra hand. Alfie hasn't got an extra hand. So,
I do.
one more thing, or a couple more things I want to talk about. So, next week, what ingredients do you think we might be using, guys? I wonder. What time of year is it? Anyone, if you want to have a guess, have a guess. One for the young ones, definitely. So we'll be using that ingredient next week, without a doubt. I'm almost going to... He keeps guessing, putting it on his mouth. So, then lastly, what I wanted to cover is the sourdough starter. You probably see that, the bubbles on top. It's kind of pitted out on the top.
What is strawberries?
No. And so it stopped its growth, but it's still good to eat, and we can do something fantastic with that. So I'm just going to have a little shimmy around over here on the hob. And I've got a smaller frying pan here. I'm just going to get that warmed up. Is that good, Helly?
That's amazing.
Yes! Salty, sweet.
I can't wait to have it for me too.
So,
Here are they? With my hands.
sourdough starter. And every day when we reach this stage, right, 7 days, today's the 7th day, we throw a bit away. So if you started it when I started the introduction last week, you should be at this stage now. So for your lunch or a snack or for your tea tonight, this is what you can do. And this is free. So normally we would throw this away. Okay? And we'd start again. We'd start to build up the starter. Tomorrow I'm going to do some live videos, hopefully, on making sourdough bread. Okay? Because quite a few people have been asking. So here's the starter. And I'm going to throw away, probably at this age, around 200 grams. It's such a waste, isn't it? Oil into the pan. So a bit of rapeseed oil into the pan. Getting that nice and hot. I'm going to tip in about 200 grams, rough measure. Okay? And then I'll feed that again this afternoon. And then when I feed it tomorrow, I can have the same thing again. It's so good. It's absolute magic.
Sky and Millie.
Molly, Looks fab. Claire Gold, I could make this for tea. Claire Gold, I want to see photos. Yeah.
Chris,
So here we go.
Sky and Millie have said, is it carrots or broccoli?
Is it carrots or
Next
broccoli?
week.
Ah, carrots or broccoli. Did I miss that one?
It might be on mine.
Okay.
I don't know.
Carrots or broccoli. It's neither of those, guys. Keep guessing. Think. Yeah. Keep guessing, because just think about the time of year. That's the clue. You'll get it eventually. So in it goes. About 200 grams. Should sizzle.
This
Yes.
tastes like kind of like making a pancake.
So it does look a bit like a pancake. Now when I discovered this, I'm almost convinced this is why we have crumpets. Okay. So when we're throwing away the excess dough, and the only reason why we throw it away is because we have, if we kept adding to it, we'd have it keep needing to add more and more flour, so we'd just have an immense amount of starter. So the reason why we throw it away is just to then add a bit more. But instead of throwing it away, we can use it. And if you've got your sourdough starter today, you can do this now. Pardon? If you want to, you can. It's up to you. You want to?
Yeah.
Come say bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Just like to thank my assistant chef today. He's absolutely bossed it. Thank you very much,
I
Alfie.
want to be, can I do next time?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully see you again next week, mate. Okay. So, Claire. Hello there, Claire. I'm frying leeks, bacon, peas to serve with. I don't have cream, but do have quark, Greek yogurt. If you're going to use yogurt, whether it's Greek or whatever kind, add it at the end. You don't want to be heating that too much. So just like we're looking after the peas and we're not heating them too much, let's do the same with yogurt or creme fraiche. Okay. Same with cream as well. If you overheat cream, and anyone who ate a lot in restaurants years ago with just those heavy cream sauces, are just, you don't want to heat the cream too much. Vicky. Hi Vicky, thanks Chris. Phoebe and I watched, planning to make it later. We forgot to make the potatoes in time. Hey, that's the great thing about this, come back to it later. We've got a bit more on there as well, hang on. Alfie was fab, he was brilliant, wasn't he? He was excellent, I'm so pleased he joined me today, that's ace. There's a bit more on the other one. And cottage cheese, I wouldn't use cottage cheese, Claire, but certainly, yeah, grit a yogurt right at the end. Okay, so blitz up those peas. Blitz up the peas with a bit of stock or a bit of the hot seasoned water in the pan. Blitz those up, and then literally add everything else to it, season it, whatever, and then just add your stir in a bit of yogurt. It'll be lovely, be really nice, and you're getting that acidity from the yogurt as well. A bit like the, and if you haven't got the parmesan, that would work really well. Hi Emma, how you doing? Great to see you tuning in. Okay, so in here I have, and this is where the comparison to a crumpet lies. You can see that there, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I've got some harissa spices here, so Middle Eastern. They're going to go on top of there, just to spice it up a little bit. A little bit of salt, bit of rock salt on there, and then I'm going to flip that over. Everybody hear me when I'm turning it away? How rude. I'm going to flip that over. Okay, and the underneath looks a bit like the bottom of a crumpet. And let that cook. Now they're quite chewy and quite doughy in the middle, so I like to just finish them off in the oven. It just sort of like sets the batter, because it is kind of like a batter. And just to finish that off. So, okay, so just finishing that up. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. You are all incredible. And I'm sure, so hopefully the food that you're making is amazing. Thanks again. Thank you for all the likes and shares. If you want to go back and see all the old videos, they're still there. There's making Sayerton, there's scones last week, there's sourdough starter, there's some little science experiments as well. Please like and share those, and likewise with this. The more people we can help, the better, really, isn't it? You know. Also, I did put on. So here we go. That's our sort of sourdough crumpet almost, with some spicing. We'll pop that into the oven. And when I finish talking on here, that'll be a little snack. So. Yeah, so please like and share the videos. Really appreciate the support and spreading this. It's, you know, it's been phenomenal the amount of of people that have tuned in, and like I said, I genuinely hope that it's helping people just entertain the kids and do a bit of cooking and learning a bit about food. I also posted that's a little arm appearing.
Sorry, these pops and crisps are delicious.
I also did a little video of a story that we do in schools called Once Upon a Plate. Lovely little themed thing coming from the potteries. We talk about plates and ceramics a lot. Just we can't help it. So please tune and find that and watch that with the kids, and just enjoy a lot of the stuff that's on social media from everybody that people just trying to contribute and help. You know, these are some amazingly positive times, regardless of whatever, without a doubt. So we're nearly there, guys. Another mention for Mart from Potteries Print and the team there. Thank you so much for not making these backwards. I've been accused of being backwards before, and I really appreciate you making my backwards forwards. So thank you, guys. And also, next week, think about what our ingredients are going to be. Send me comments, send me photos of what you've made. Just share the magic that you've been doing, guys. Yeah, just love it. And if you can also conjure up some other amazing dishes with these little beauties, do it. They're just such amazing ingredients, raw, cooked, whatever. So, thank you for tuning in. Please like and share. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, for some sourdough lessons. You've been amazing. Thank you.